What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. Today is super exciting because I'm going to be installing my first mods on the 435 here. We're going to be doing the charge pipe, the intercooler, and the boost pipe to make sure that once we start adding power to the car, it's going to be able to maintain that power and not blow up, especially with the charge pipe. So a lot of you might already know the charge pipes that come with the factory N54, N55 motors are plastic and brittle. So once you're under high boost or anything, those things can basically just grenade and leave you in limp mode on the freeway. So we're gonna take care of that today. And while we're at it, we're gonna go ahead and do the intercooler and the boost pipe, which is the opposite side of the charge pipe, and just take care of all of that today, and then we can start adding real power. So let's get into this episode. All right, so for the charge pipe and boost pipe, I went with the FTP Motorsports combo. You get a bunch of peanuts. All right, so that's one portion over there. That looks like the boost pipe. I'm not a big fan of these peanuts, man, because they make a mess, but whatever works. I think that's one portion of the charge pipe and the second portion of the charge pipe. That's all the piping, the fittings, and the bolts that we're gonna need. Sweating out here. I got my brother Big Sav behind the camera who's gonna help me with this install. Y'all seen him in the past videos. So here it is, FTP Motorsports. Looks pretty good. It's just an aluminum pipe. It's coated pretty well. No surprises there. So here is the boost pipe that goes on the opposite side of the charge pipe. You get your FTP badge there. Pretty clean on the inside. I went with the BMS intercooler. I was gonna go with the VRSF, but the reason I went with the BMS at the time is it was the only one available. I went with, I think it's a 6-inch intercooler. I don't remember. It is a step lip intercooler, which is pretty cool. I'll show you that here once I get this thing unboxed. So it's nicely packaged. This one, that looks pretty cool. This one runs about 320 something. Let's see here. Looks pretty good and heavy duty. The fins look good. Let's check it out. You got the BMS plaque right on top. So it is a step lip design. So if you actually take a look at it here, you get 2.5 inches here and then 5 inches on the main core. This is a lot bigger than the factory, a lot more efficient than the factory intercooler, and we'll show you that once we get the other one pulled out. So here is the stock charge pipe that we're going to be taking out. You can see it here with the clip on there. It goes down. There is this sensor here that we're going to be removing. So we're going to go ahead and unplug that sensor and then use the screws, or take out the screws and remove the sensor completely. Take the charge pipe off of here and then jack the car up, so that way we're not reaching over the car once it's jacked up to get all of that out. This clip, you just got to pull it up. I put some muscle into that thing, man. Oh, snap. All right, T20s. So you just want to carefully wiggle that thing out. Don't damage it. And there you go. Got that thing removed. And now we can jack the car up. So now that we got the car jacked up, we're gonna go ahead and remove the belly pan, which is held on by a bunch of these 8mm bolts. All right, so we got the belly pan out, a bunch of 8mm bolts that was holding it up. This is the OEM charge pipe. This is the thing that everybody says is a pain in the butt. It has this little indentation that kind of holds it in. Snap that off like you regularly would. There you go. So that is the black trim that we were trying to remove. And now that that's out, charge pipe is out, you can take the clip off and it should pop off. So this charge pipe intercooler connection is giving us a bunch of issues. It's stuck, it won't come out, so we just gotta pry this thing out, and we're not ever gonna probably go back to stock, so I don't care if we break this thing. Because the charge pipe is stuck in there, we can't wiggle it out because it's still attached to this intercooler. So we're gonna muscle this thing out, and again, Don't do what I do. Here is the boost pipe, you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this. There's a clip on top that you have to get from the engine side, and this should just come down. Here is the comparison with the stock intercooler here and the new BMS step intercooler. Huge difference in size. So this should help out a lot, keep everything cool. Look at that size difference. Nothing looks like junk. The BMS one looks dope. That's our boost pipe, the new one. That's the old one. Not a lot of people end up replacing the boost pipe because you really don't see a lot of failure, but since you're in there, it only takes an extra 5 minutes to unclip this thing right here, and you can pop that new one in. So we got everything reassembled. We matched it up with the factory OEM shape, so that way once we put it in, it goes in just like factory. This should be easier to put in than it was to take out. Same thing with the boost pipe, just a couple of clamps, and then you have your metal pipe that it's quick connect to the BMS intercooler here. So let's go ahead and put everything in and button everything up. We're gonna go ahead and try to go from the top. Dang. Alrighty, so we just got the top portion of the charge pipe in. It was a pain in the butt putting it in and taking it off, but it snaps in with that ring there. But it looks good. Make sure everything is flush, that way you don't get no boost leak. Mine looks pretty good so far, so we're gonna go ahead and attach the bottom portion. And you could probably do a one-person job, but why would you do that when you got two people here? There it is, all bolted up. So these are the Torx bolt. In case you run into a similar issue is here. This holds in the fan. So you can see we kind of bent it out a little bit and we notched the plastic out, and then it pretty much sits in there and holds everything pretty well without doing too much, you know, trimming here. Just dropped the car. So we are now ready to take it on the road. Let me show you what the intercooler looks like down here, fresh and clean. That thing looks awesome. It looks good. Looks like we're ready to put some power to this thing. All right, guys, this is gonna be the first drive with the new parts installed, with the new intercooler, the charge pipe, and the boost pipe. I hope we have everything down tight. I'm a nervous wreck, man. I don't want this thing popping off. But let's start it up. No check engine lights. Everything looks good so far. I'm gonna just leave it in comfort mode at the moment, and let's take it out on the road and let's see, guys. I'm excited. So the installation is fairly easy, especially if you have a second hand. It really helps a lot to have somebody else helping you, but it took about 2.5 hours. The quality of the parts, I think, are pretty on par with what I paid for. The FTP charge pipe boost pipe combo was about, I think, $330 on sale. It's an aluminum pipe, so it looked like it was good quality. It wasn't cheap or anything like that. The coating on it was great. The BMS intercooler looked like it was in really good shape when it came. There's some scratches at the bottom, but I didn't really care about that. But the quality of it looks great. Everything fit like it should. It did take a little bit of finessing. One tip is don't tighten everything down until you have everything like snapped into place, and then tighten up your couplers. But other than that, it was fairly easy. So let's actually get this thing on the road and hopefully nothing pops off. Ooh. All right, so far so good. Cameraman out here putting in work, bro. Y'all don't even know what goes on behind the scene. All right, so far so good. All right. The car feels about the same so far. Hitting 40 miles an hour now. Everything looks good. Still no check engine lights, so That looks good. I'm super excited about this install because it's the first of many to come. Because I don't want to add any power to the car unless I know the charge pipe isn't gonna explode on me. So the BMS intercooler is rated at about 800 horses to the wheels. That's what the website said, or it said it was tested on an 800 wheel horsepower N54. But it's the same build and everything, so I expect that it should hold up to the same standards. The N55, let's be realistic, it'll probably never push 800 to the wheels, but for my plans, this should be more than enough. Let's go ahead and let some traffic pass, and I'll finally give it some gas, and hopefully nothing pops off. All right, so let's actually give it some gas here. I feel like I can hear the turbo spool a little bit more. That just might be in my head. So we're at a stop here, and I'm gonna just ease into it. I'm not gonna mash it. That was good. That was a slight pull, maybe 3/4 of the throttle. Mini pull, and everything seems to be good. That felt pretty good. It is exactly what I wanted it to be. It handled the power well. It didn't get hot. It didn't go over 250 degrees. It stayed cool after a bunch of pulls. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm actually really excited because now I can add a bunch of power, and this thing should be able to handle everything I throw at it. I recommend everybody who has an N55 to do the cooling first on their cars versus, you know, doing all the power mods first, because this way you know your car will be ready for whatever you throw at it. That's just my recommendation. You can build your car however you want, but for me, I wanted to get the cooling and the charge pipe taken care of. That way I can add the downpipe, the intake, and everything else down the road and do the tunes, and get it all ready for 500 horses, hopefully. But I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys like what you saw, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and you know, I'll have a bunch more videos coming out. I have more parts coming in the mail, so follow me in my journey of getting this thing to 500 horses. Appreciate you guys watching. See you next time.